Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a fantastic day as always. A very big thank you out there to everyone who leaves a like, who leaves a comment every single day. I do thank you, or to those who have subscribed. Welcome back to another holiday edition of News I Missed. I don't know, I should have had like some jingle bells or something going on there, but there's News I Missed where I go over news I missed. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. The 8th largest digital currency, dogecoin, has reached a new milestone with the largest whales on the Binance smart chain. Okay. Also in the news, Robinhood's app has revealed exactly how much dogecoin they are holding for their customers. As per the recent tweet of the Doge Whale Alert Twitter user, popular trading platform Robinhood has tweeted that it holds a solid amount of Doge in its wallet on behalf of their investors. They are holding, and I quote, 38,439,544,979 Dogecoin, worth $3 billion US. This constitutes roughly 28% of all the current Doge supply circulating in the market. We normally never, ever get news like this. I wonder why they decided to become so transparent. I don't think it even says it anywhere inside of here. So like, you know how the entire idea of transparency from cryptocurrency exchanges has been like a major topic over the last like 4 or 5 weeks because of the FTX thing, yada, yada. This makes me wonder how many Dogecoin, if Robinhood alone is holding 28% of all the Dogecoin, how many Dogecoin is Binance holding? How many Dogecoin does Kraken have? Does Gemini even have Dogecoin? I guess also then Coinbase as well, and then the other scattered ones. Like, I wonder if the entire trading volume is just based off of all the Dogecoin being on these cryptocurrency exchanges. That is very weird to even think about, that there could be that many, if not just the entire supply on a bunch of different websites. It says the current amount combined of Dogecoin held by Robinhood is $3 billion, 27.99% of the entire circulating supply. And the other, I'll throw this into the mix as well. The other really weird thing that I find about a lot of the custody news and or the not self-custodying news, as in people have their coins on a centralized crypto exchange, is that whenever there's like a fiasco at one different website, people just simply move their coins to another different cryptocurrency exchange. Like, think of the years ago, people would have completely lost all of their minds if we found out that 30% of all Bitcoin was just on Coinbase. Or if we, heaven forbid, if we had found out that Ripple was holding 50% of all the XRP and then another 30% was just on Robinhood as well. That would have caused a gigantic flurry of a lot of people being a little upset. So yeah, Robinhood apparently has nearly 1/3 of all the Dogecoin that's circulating around out there. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? At least makes me wonder. I find news like this quite interesting because it is fascinating to see over the years which news actually ends up making people panicked or making people, people just simply don't pay attention to the news that's floating around. All right, that's the Robinhood news. Yeah. Let's move on. Also in the news, crypto Twitter influencer Nekoz, that is Nekoz, tweeted about the blockchain platform Solana's active decline in the number of developers. The tweet specifies that Solana has lost, and I quote, 97% of its total number of developers since January of 2022, from 2,453 developers at the beginning of the year to now just at 75. I have mentioned over the course of the last 2 years and more, and I'll even shorten it to just a year, that something seemed to be wrong with Solana. I have been in crypto long enough. That's not me bragging. I'm doing it to tell you that I've seen things come and go. And when I smell something that smells fishy, I let everyone else know as well. Historically, there were a number of coins back in 2016, 17, 18, and 19 that had something that was more likely to be called a 51% attack, an attack on the network, a DDoS attack, something to slow the entire network down and or make the entire thing crumble and or fail or have tons of problems. There were many coins years ago that had this problem once, and you will never hear of these coins again. They completely disappeared. They're simply not around. A lot of people really realized really fast that something was wrong with the chain, and therefore they moved on to another project, what have you. At the beginning of this year, especially around the time that the Terra Luna collapse fiasco began to happen, I think Solana was on its third, I believe it was the third 51% attack on the Solana database. And that's when we started getting news, and I saw more prominently that it was in crypto news, so I began to talk about it. And one of the things that stood out to me was the fact that it was constantly developers are restarting the blockchain. You cannot restart the blockchain. You can restart a database. Can anyone tell me why you cannot restart a blockchain? Someone said it. Because you need network consensus. If there are 30,000 Bitcoin nodes and I decide, Bitcoin's a little sluggish, I cannot restart Bitcoin. We would need, in essence, more than 51%, but it's usually 80 or 90% of the entire network to come to the consensus that something is wrong, and therefore we are going to be restarting the platform. I think this year alone, I believe, I don't remember every single tiny detail, but I believe there were 7 or 8 halts, stops, and or 51% attacks on the Solana database. And also, there were, I think, 2 or 3 protocol breaches where people saw that there's something allegedly within Solana was not secure enough and their decentralized exchanges fell apart. I know there's someone out there who's throwing their arms up in the air and they're ranting and raving. I'm going to assume you weren't here over the course of the entirety of 2022 whenever this news continuously kept on popping up. The other part of the news is that, here we go. About 4 weeks ago, people figured out that as FTX was collapsing, FTX allegedly had very close ties to another cryptocurrency exchange. No. It was, I believe it was Alameda Research, which was the subsidiary of FTX or something along those lines. I don't remember all the exact words. It was alleged. We don't know the intricacies of their finances. But apparently, Alameda Research had an enormous amount of Solana. This is the news that we were given multiple times over the course of multiple weeks. People began to wonder why Solana's price was dropping, and it apparently has to do with the fact that the people from Alameda Research had so much Solana that they were trying to sell it off in rapid succession to be able to recuperate any kind of money that they would be able to use during the height of the fiasco. This scared a lot of people because, once again, it appeared to be a relatively large amount of the entire supply. The numbers I saw floating around were near 15 to 20%. I do not know if that's true. People have been posting a lot of different things, but that caused Solana to rapidly drop in price as well. So that leads us to where we currently are. The idea of any coin, any project, I get it. It's been a very rough year. I believe me, I've been crawling through the mud as well. It's a very, very weird, insane year. But to go from 2,453 developers to only 75, I will repeat this again as I repeated since the beginning of the year. It's a gigantic red flag. You remember how a lot of other times, this is especially years ago, I used to always say, this coin seems kind of weird. This coin seems a little iffy. This coin seems so-and-so. But I used to always wait until we actually had news from developers who were actually working on a project or looking at a project. And one of the main things that always popped up were these people being like, hey, something's not right with this chain. This also happened years ago when we started hearing that IOTA was going to be the new Ethereum. Yep, don't forget about that one, because Pepperidge Farm remembers, where people were talking about that IOTA was going to completely thrash Ethereum and push it to the side. IOTA was going to be the brand new XRP, and eventually at some point it would become the number one coin because their Tangle, not the blockchain, would be capable of processing millions and millions of transactions per second. A number of developers came forward. They looked at it and said, nope, none of that can actually happen. I don't know what they're talking about. And this has happened over and over and over and over and over and over within the cryptocurrency space. Here's the actual tweet right here. It says Solana has lost 97% of its developers. From 2,453 in January, there are now 75 left. The total number of active mainstream blockchain developers dropped from 3,700 to 1,600. Big yikes for Solana. For those of you who can't see the chart that well, here's a large. I tried to make it as large as possible for everyone out there to see. Like, I understand that, things would have slowed down over the course of the vicious bear market that we've been having. But once again, I don't say these things to brag to people. I don't do it regardless of what you might think. I know that people who've been watching for a long time, I assume you know me as we spend every single day together. I do it because I've seen so many people lose money. I've been in the space and have seen so many friends, family members, pseudo family members, very close friends, what have you, lose enormous amounts of money in the cryptocurrency space because someone keeps telling them that this coin is amazing. This coin is going to be the new Ethereum. This is definitely the new Bitcoin. And especially when I have friends and family getting into the space, I try to tell them, if you're going to get into the space, try to just accumulate a small portion of Bitcoin or Ether just to see where the price goes, because I want people to get used to the market. I never tell anyone, throw in 5K. I always say, put in 100. Put in $100. People usually get very down because they want to throw in big money to make big money. And I tell them to wait for 3 months. See where the market goes. And it always happens out this way, that when people wake up and they see that 100 is now 75, they panic call me. Well, what happened? What's going on? Why the market? What was? See, and I'm like, this is why I didn't want you to put in 5,000, because it takes a long time for the market to actually move. Some days they'll make 100 and, it's up to 130. Anyway, the point is, Solana apparently, according to all the news, is not doing well. I don't know why it took people for the Sam Bankman-Fried news to pop up to realize that this wasn't going to work out well. 9 times this year alone, there have been problems with their database. So just hope that everyone got it this time. That's the Solana. Has lost 97% of its developers. News. Yeah. Let's move on. Also in weird and yet obvious news, SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce says that the so-called Howey tests used by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission to determine whether a digital asset should be classified as a security has some limitations. What? I would have never guessed that one. The test stems from a landmark Supreme Court decision that dates back to this. On the screen it says 1946, but it's actually from the 1930s, which is part of my issue with the Howey tests, because it is nearly 100 years old. It's before everyone had a telephone in their home. It's before everyone had a television, before the television was even invented. It's before computers. It's before the internet. It's before crypto. To say that this should have any bearing on anything within the cryptocurrency space is absolutely nonsensical. It established a criteria under which a financial agreement qualifies as an investment contract and is therefore subject to federal securities law. The entire idea being, are you buying something with the expectation of profit? That's what it means to be a security. As it relates to crypto, Pierce describes why the test is so significant for the industry. She said, there's been a lot of emphasis on the Howey test in the crypto world because a lot of these things were sold as tokens, plus a promise that they were going to build a network, she said on the latest episode of Decrypt's Good Morning podcast. I assume that's what the GM, actually, I assume that's GM for Good Morning podcast. One of the main things when a lot of companies are creating cryptocurrencies or someone creates a cryptocurrency out of nowhere, what have you, is it for the purpose of people to buy it in order to make a profit. That's why you see a lot of coins now shifting over to utility. This is why you might have noticed, if you are into the OMI token, the OMI token, for Vivi, they continuously make sure to mention that it is I just had the word. How did I lose it so quick? A utility token. The idea being you utilize it on the platform to have other things happen. You are not holding the coin in order to make a significant amount of profit. It simply works within the actual system, and therefore it is a utility. And if you are a utility, you have a very high chance of being called a commodity and staying away from the idea that people are simply buying your coin because they're trying to make more money. This is why you see the idea of decentralization rapidly out of nowhere coming back into the cryptocurrency space, because a lot of people have realized this is why you no longer see Justin Sun. What's the other guy? Not Jim Lee, the guy who made Litecoin. And other people have basically stopped talking about their coins. You never hear Vitalik really talking about ETH anymore. He talks about the Ethereum network. It's all kind of the same, except for Charles Hoskinson, he's adamant that he's going to make that coin a security. I don't know how he keeps it. It just doesn't make any sense why he's so right. The court case that led to the creation of the Howey test centered on the sale of units in a Florida-based citrus grove development, where investors could share in the profits of efforts to cultivate produce. I want you to hear that one more time. The security test, or the Howey test for the cryptocurrency space, is based off of people buying oranges in the 1930s. Yeah, see now it sounds even dumber than before, because that's definitely not something that should be ruling over and or controlling the cryptocurrency space. It determined an investment contract is a contract or a transaction or a scheme whereby a person invests his money in a common enterprise and is led to expect profits solely from the efforts of the promoter or a third party, i.e. I buy your coin because you as a company are going to do well, and therefore that's how it goes. For those of you who don't know Hester Pierce, we haven't heard from Hester Pierce in a very, very long time. She was one of the mainstays in the cryptocurrency news back in 2019 and 2018 as one of the only, if not the only, person on the side of the cryptocurrency space. She thinks cryptocurrencies are very interesting. She thinks that they can, flourish and grow into something bigger. She does want regulations, but nothing compared to what Gary Gensler wants. She thinks that there needs to be like a fair approach. We need to see how the space continues to develop, and therefore they should be able to regulate from there. So yeah, not surprised at all. Here's also a definition right there for those of you who were looking at it or looking for the idea of the Securities Act. From 1933 and the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. It does not make any sense. Does not make any sense as to why the cryptocurrency space would be based on anything from nearly 100 years ago, but that's just the world that we are currently living in. Yeah, that's the SEC Hester Pierce. She even, listen, I gave her actual kudos because there was something last year, maybe the year before, where Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, said something very, very backhanded about crypto. And she actually, she took seconds to respond on Twitter and was like, I don't agree with him at all. He's completely out of his mind. We need better. We need to do better as the SEC. So she's definitely on my list of actual nice people who are regulators. Like, imagine if she was the head of the SEC, how much further we'd be ahead as a people. My actual goodness. That's the Hester Pierce. Says that the Howey test has limitations. I would have never assumed that one. All right. Let's move on. Yeah. Did you see that? Did you see the transactions? That's weird. The transactions, they're gone again. They disappeared, and then I don't know how they all fit onto that bus. I do hope you all are having a great time wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do thank all of you for all the continued support, for all the likes, for all the comments, for everything that you've been doing over the last couple of years, especially also if you are new here. Thank you for all the clicking of affiliate links. Thank you for all the well wishes over the last couple of days. Hello to all of you out there. I just waved. You can't see me, so I think I might have looked a bit crazy sitting in the room just waving to the computer screen. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and or subscribing. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.